Coach Kevin Hoffman. Coach, if you'll introduce your 5 student athletes.
This is quarterback Kyler Martin, linebacker Tony Sanchez, senior, another senior Chris Bledsoe, and then our sophomore Clydarian Campbell, and junior number 10 Rodrell Freeman.
Questions from the floor.
Coach, I saw your first game, your scrimmage against West in Waco Connolly. This is a completely different team than that. Talk about that growth.
Well, when you lose the past two senior classes that we lost in 2017 and 2018, there were some talented kids that graduated from that group, those two groups, and then we knew that basically we got 3 starters coming back. We're going to be really young. We only have 5 seniors total and 6 juniors, so that's only 11. So we had to fill the other spots with someone. And so when we looked at our roster and everything, we basically ended up with 14 sophomores. Starting 7 of them on defense and 5 sophomores on offense. So, and the scrimmages and the non-district schedule that we play, we do that for a reason. And we went through some trying times, losing 3 games in our non-district schedule, but that's by design. We want to put these seniors and juniors have been through it and they know, but these sophomores, they're not used to this, and they won in junior high and they won as freshmen, and played last year in 5 of the 6 playoff games, but they were all blowouts, and so they didn't have to really face anything like that. So we want to put them basically put their feet in the fire and see if they can handle it. And we went through some trying times, and I got a few more gray hairs from it, but these kids have come out the other side, and they believe in what we're trying to do, and this shows, and it's just unbelievable that we were able to get back here for a 3rd time with this young group. But these seniors and the few juniors that we have carried these young kids, and said this is the way we do things. So you either get on board or you get gone, and they've all bought in, and they trust what we're doing.
Coach, last Friday night you talked about how relieved you were when the clock hit zeros. Same thing tonight. I mean, when Kyler recovers the onside kick and then you're able to run out the clock.
Yeah, those semifinal rounds, they're so brutal that if you don't win them, you're just so close to getting here, and if you don't win that game, it's just like a punch in the gut. But to get here, basically all the pressure's off. You've gotten here, so now just go out and play. And then for us to, recover the onside kick and be able to run out the clock, and then, my emotions, I kind of lost it there a little bit, but that's because. Again, I said last week that, I live my life through these kids, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and everything that I try to do and everything that I believe in is to help and do what's best for these kids. And I know they believe and they trust in me, and they know I love them, and vice versa. So I do anything in the world for them, and they know that. And so, and then there's some other things. My mother and father passed away, and they've been gone for a while, and they haven't been able to see any of this. And so me and my sister and brother, we miss them. Wish they were here.
Kyler, can you talk about, they've got an onside kick. If they recover it, they've got all the momentum in the world in 2 minutes. What were you thinking before the play? What were you thinking after the play?
Nothing at all. I knew my job. It was easy. Just catch the ball.
Clydarian, can you talk a little bit about the pick 6? It looked like you were kind of following the quarterback's eyes a little bit and was able to bait him a little bit and come with that.
That's exactly what I did. I knew that he was going to try and throw the 15, and I baited him to throw it straight to him, and I picked it up around. That's all I could do.
Coach, this was Hamlin's first time to come to the state championship. Were you surprised at all the way they came out?
No, not surprised at all. I've heard about Hamlin. Obviously we've never crossed paths, but I've heard about Hamlin for years, and and knew that what kind of kids they had, and tough, hard-nosed kids, and we didn't play very well today, but I think that had more to do with Hamlin than it did with us. They're physical, they're big, strong. I mean, shifty. I mean, it's hard to tackle them. Hamlin's going to be back here. They got a great group of kids, and I can see them. I can see them coming back here for years to come.
Roger, you guys don't usually get to play a lot of games like this except in the non-district. What was the battle like out there for you guys today, and how satisfying is it to come away after a win like that?
We have to play hard every down, 1-0 every week. That's what we have to do.
Roger, you've played like 45 high school games now. You've been involved in 3 championship games. It's getting old. It isn't getting old yet, is it?
48. 48.
It's hard to answer that question, but it's been a goal since I was in like 2nd grade to go 4 years back to back. It's 3, and I got 1 more to go.
Coach, for those, you mentioned this week those freshmen that played in the 4th quarter of the state championship game last year, and obviously you put them out there because the game's out of hand, but tonight, I mean, it was a battle right to the end. How was your team able to kind of make that adjustment from a blowout last year to a battle this time around?
Well, they believe and they trust and they know that they're not going to beat everybody like that, And again, it goes back to our non-district schedule. We lost to Franklin, we lost to Holland, we lost to Refugio. We played those guys, 4 quarters. We had a chance in every one of them. In the 4th quarter, we were in the game with a chance to win, and there were things that we did that cost us to lose those games. But there were also, it has to do with the Franklin and the Holland and the Refugio. They made us. They showed us our mistakes and the things that we needed to work on. And so the things that we were doing well, we tried to continue to get better at those things. And the things that that they exposed us in some areas, so we went to work on those things. Again, those things early, and then today's game was just like those games. But the difference is now we've gone through, instead of week 2 and week 3 and week 4 with a bunch of sophomores, now we're in week 16, and they've grown up through all of those things. And so when we got behind, you could see a little bit in their eyes that, what's going on here, we're not supposed to be like this, but they stay the course and they believe and they understand, and they listen, in the timeouts and at halftime to make a couple of small adjustments. But, the bottom line is that we're going to do what we do, offensively and defensively, and, we just want to out-execute and just be physical. And so, one of those touchdowns that long run on 2nd long, that was my fault. I talked Coach Martin into calling something on defense that we hadn't really done a whole lot of, and so I put that on me.
Coach, when Rodrell gets off to that big start, how does it affect the way that other teams try to defend guys?
Rodrell is, I'm glad he's on our team. Rodrell's, we're gonna hand him the ball, we're gonna snap him the ball, we might throw him the ball. Rodrell's our bell cow. Everybody knows that. You can look at him, but he's gonna do everything we ask as hard as he can do it. And then these other guys that run the football, Kyler, Clydarian, and also Keyshawn and some of those other guys that run the football, they understand that they might not get as many touches, but they're going to get their opportunity, whether it's 3 or 4 times or 7 or 8 times, and they know when they get it, they need to make the most of it. But I can't, none of these guys, these skill guys, can do what they do without our offensive linemen. And Chris Bledsoe and Tony Sanchez are 2 seniors on our offensive line, and we're gonna miss those guys next year. But they're going to go off with the other 2 classes that we lost, and they're going to come back and they're going to tell the young guys that this is how we do things. But one thing that these 3 seniors can do is they've separated themselves from any other group that's ever come through Mart, Texas. All right, last year was the only group to go back to back, and now these 3 guys are a part of a part of a group that's won 3 in a row. And so they set themselves apart from the great 99 state championship team that everybody says is the best that's ever come through there. And they might be the single season best team that's ever come through there. But we're the 3-time state champions, and we're already talking about number 4.
Kyler, does it hype up your guys' offense when Rodrell's getting hit by 4 or 5 guys and just keeps going?
Oh yes, sir. It does a lot. Just to see somebody that can keep going after getting hit 4 times is inspiring.
Chris, can you speak to, when you guys were down 8, where the guys' heads were at that point, and then also winning 3 in a row and getting there like we talked about earlier this week?
I just had to speak inspiring words to my teammates and get their heads what they needed to be.
What were those words?
I don't know if I can say it. There's a lot of cameras.
Some of those things are locker room stuff. So
2 more questions.
Coach, you mentioned the pick 6. Obviously, y'all had 4 big turnovers y'all forced, all of which kind of changed the momentum at different times. How important were those to kind of get you guys momentum back and allow y'all to hold on?
Well, I've always believed in my 29 years of coaching that number 1, you need to be able to run the football. And number 2, you need to be able to stop the run. And then number 3, you need to win the turnover battle. I mean, there's no secret to the success of football teams. If you can run the ball and beat people up, and make them like it, and they can't stop you, and then you can do that on the other side on defense, and the turnovers are going to come. And like Clyde Darian said on the pick 6, we've repped that all week, and we told them that they're going to run that route and they're going to do this, and he's going to come out here and you got to bait that quarterback into throwing that ball there. It's a kind of a sprint out, and it's one of those things that you tell your quarterbacks to never to do is to throw late back across the middle. But he kind of threw across his body, and he never saw Clyde Darian, and so but we've repped that and worked on it, and during practice this week we did the same things.
Clyde Darian, it seems the most of the game you were assigned to cover number 15. Have you ever had to cover somebody that runs 280 or so?
Besides my defensive coach, Coach Honeycutt, no, I've never seen him.
Coach Honeycutt's our one of our defensive line coaches, and he's about 6'3", about 280. And so this week he played the role of number 15.
We'll take 1 more question.
Rodrell, when you start getting in a rhythm out there, especially after that first touchdown, when you start getting in a mode where you feel like nobody can stop you?
It really just started off with the line. When the line started blocking, I started going, filling the holes, hitting the holes hard, all that.